As a young citizen, of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I am joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, deemed to be university, and its a centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, in association with African Asian Rural Development Organization, ARDO, New Delhi, organize this weekly international webinar series on open source digital technologies towards self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Today is the 99th edition of this webinar series. All the webinar talks are available in the university website. Today is 3rd December 2022 and 99th edition of the webinar series. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, His Excellency the Secretary General ARDO, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, Center for Agri-business and Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, and Center for Health Informatics and Computing. Let me welcome our guest speakers of today's webinar. Madam Bharati Sinha, Director, Amity Software Systems Limited, and followed by Dr. Yogita Shukla and Atanu Sinha. Today, the topic is very important: rejuvenation and acceleration of agri-business through digital transformation. I wish to inform the participants and the speakers that the university regularly conducts two webinar series, namely National Webinar Series on Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 by Atmanirbhar Bharat in Agriculture on every Thursday, and International Webinar Series on Open Source Digital Technology towards Self-Reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, on every Saturday. Under this international webinar series, these two centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, have organized 98 lectures on very important topic. Let me tell only the titles of the webinar for the benefits of our guest speakers as well as the participants. Open technologies to provision simple and economical IT infrastructure. A roadmap for students using free and open source software and reaching goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Open source software in industrial IoTs for SMEs. Free and open source software adoption, oblique business models. Open data platform for smart digital government. Technology imperatives. Make in India for self-reliance. Edge artificial intelligence. Data governance for self-reliant India. Digital India transforming governance and society. India's email service, citizen@indiamail.com, in 22 constitutionally recognized languages. So, ecosystem architecture for digital transformation, education system, cyber critical infrastructure, seizing opportunities in open innovation, and value creation network in the digital world for self-reliant economy, ensuring food safety and compliance through technology. Digital India, urgent need for semiconductor manufacturing in India. Technology investment in agriculture value chain, role of foreign direct investment. Entrepreneurship and skill development, AI design pathways. The rise of platform economy, revisiting value chain governance. The era of automation, industrial robotics, and Industry 4.0, Indo-German perspective of technology transfer, skill gap analysis, and opportunities. Role of artificial intelligence in healthcare, current developments in diagnosis and vaccine research, digital agri-tech and agri-tech startup perspective, health informatics network value chain, e-health system, and beyond, leveraging emerging technologies for ensuring transparent and traceable agri and food supply chains. Unleash the power of citizen development for enterprise software development. E-governance models towards sustained quality service to citizen backed by technology. Indian MSME to adopt Industry 4.0 technology capabilities, urgent need for mentorship and accelerator program. Building public digital platform using microservices and APIs. Health informatics network value chain, early childhood development and learning. Health informatics network value chain, clinical AI, interface between machine learning and health informatics. Health informatics network value chain, importance of social medicine and community health in the times of health emergency. G filter, gravity filter, a simple low-cost solution to the drinking water treatment in rural India. Open source GovTech startups empowering growth with automation. Digital transformation in small enterprises and small businesses of India, challenges and opportunities. National Digital Twin Program, need for a robust geospatial infrastructure. Industry 4.0 in MSMEs, benefits of indigenously developed collab CAD from National Informatics Center. Mass serialization and anti-counterfeiting solutions to fight illicit trade. Cybersecurity, risk challenges and solutions, intelligence approach to reduce cyber risk. New Internet IPv6 root server toward Atmanirbhar Connected Bharat. Indian startups, reflections, and possible policy interventions needed for scaling up to Gram Panchayat. Blockchain and crypto for digital assets platforms, pathways for global trade. Robot as a service, leverage technology to solve enterprise challenges. Space startups, connecting to international markets with emerging business models, enabling technologies for future vision. Vivekananda Secondary Education and Skills Development Mega Project, its potential impact on rural entrepreneurship and rural economy in India. Sports Grail, a digital sports media platform and prospects of Indian sports industry sustainability model at global level. Pharma 4.0, Industry 4.0 applications to pharmaceutical manufacturing path to a digital transformation. Accelerate and scale non-linear growth through partner ecosystems. Technological renaissance and the human capital, a perspective. Health informatics network value chain, medical outreach challenges and potential. Beyond COVID-19, revitalizing micro and small enterprises. Project management essentials, launchpad for future CEOs and startup founders and beyond. Society 5.0, a new society beyond Industry 4.0 and post-COVID-19. Smart village oblique community, African ICT oblique IoT lesson. Digital economy, ways and means to protect and empower for self-reliance. Pragmatic ways for Atmanirbhar Bharat, Sri Satyanarayan Banwarlal Thangawach, founder trustee. Innovative Thought Forum. Democratization of essential services by using sustainable energy as a catalyst. Transforming India through relevant education and vocational training. Digital technology in simplifying citizen life. Online learning during the pandemic and its future. Smart microeconomic zones. Pathway for self-reliance at village level. Crime prediction support systems. Knowledge management for development partnership to achieve sustainable development goals of the UN and implementing the Agenda 2030. Millet value chain from IoT to blockchain, a traceability map. Aspirational district program in left-wing extremism affected district, a successful model of data-driven governance. Digital agriculture supply chain and trading hub, a geo-economic perspective. Market-driven agriculture, need for development of a crop-specific strategies at block level. A open agri network to unlock the $1 trillion plus potential of Indian agriculture with smallholder farmers. Developing rural entrepreneurship to ensure doubling of farmers' income. Leveraging the power of governance, leveraging the power of convergence through connecting the dots. Agri startups, agripreneurs, and rural innovators. Agronomy plus artificial intelligence equal to precision farming. Doubling farmers' income, imperative of plant health informatics network. Developing commercial breadfruit value chain to help farmers reach high value markets. Commodity value chain creation through agri network and agri AI. Farm to plate, one-stop agri-tech platform to simplify supply chain and e-governance needs of food and perishable commodities. Health Informatics Network Value Chain, National Animal Disease Reporting System, NADRS 2012 and beyond. Artificial intelligence and metaverse, frontiers in workspace, coconut value chain challenges, transforming into opportunities. Coffee informatics value chain, facilitating smallholder coffee farmers into business. Health informatics network value chain, building of one health ecosystem, role of digital architecture. Diversification of fish and fisheries resource management and its challenges in Bangladesh. Data mining on digital agriculture. Drone technology ecosystem, empowering smallholder farmers in India. Fisheries informatics network value chain, business plan for fisheries cooperatives to attract investors. Making urbanization work for the poor through new technologies. Disruptive technologies in precision agriculture. Strategy for total development of local areas with ICT, Dodala model. Digital economy, ways and means to protect and empower for self-reliance. Sustainability frameworks and standards for agriculture commodities, global experience. We Mill, a social business initiative for rural women. E-governance in digital India, challenges and potential. Application of artificial intelligence and digitization in agriculture and animal husbandry. Organic and natural farming, certification and way forward. Transformation through technology. T3, pathway for industries to embrace digital and operational and knowledge transmission for knowledge transformation for participating in global value chain. Health informatics network value chain, digital health analytics leading to digital twine for better health care. Smart, sustainably managing agriculture in remote terrain technologies. Smart, sustainably managing agriculture in remote terrain technologies, empowering farmers to make agriculture profitable and sustainable by Dr. Rajul Patkar, CEO Proximal Soil Sense Technologies Private Limited, Pune. India becoming drone technologies global hub by 2030, opportunities, challenges, and way forward. Today is the 99th edition of this very important webinar series. We will have the talk by group of speakers, Madam Parati Sinha, Dr. Yogita Shukla, and Atano Sinha. Today on the very important topic, rejuvenation and acceleration of agribusiness through digital transformation. Dear participants, please note the keywords in the title: rejuvenation, acceleration, agribusiness, and digital transformation. India is said to be a land of villages. Acharya Vinoba Bhave said, India is largely an agricultural country, Krishi Pradhan Desh, and a country of villages, Kram Pradhan Desh, with more than 6.25 lakh villages. It is the foundation of Indian economy. It employs more than 50% of the India's workforce, contributes almost 17 to 18% of its GDP. And at present, agricultural livelihoods are being severely impacted world over as a result of global warming and climate change. India's labor-intensive and subsistence-based agriculture sector is particularly vulnerable to this development. Farmers of India are facing multidimensional problems: price fluctuation, debt, lack of infrastructure, and weather. Indian farming community comprises of about 14.5 crores operational holders, of which 85% of the farmers are having small and marginal size operational holdings. They need timely, location specific, and personalized information for effective control on their production, risk, and then market their produce to identified market opportunities. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi at the 7th Governing Council meeting of Niti Aayog held on 7th August 2022 in New Delhi, in his opening remarks, he stressed, I quote, the need to focus on modernized agriculture, animal husbandry, and food processing to become self-sufficient and global leader in the agriculture. And in his closing remarks, he said, I quote, each state should focus on promoting trade, tourism, and technology via every Indian mission around the world. The state must focus on reducing imports, increasing exports, and identifying opportunities thereof. Reforms towards digitalization of agriculture systems. This is doubling farmers' income by 2022, report 2018. It is popularly known as Dr. Ashok Dalwai Committee report. I was closely associated with this committee during the formulation of its report. I was the group leader for two volumes, volume 11 and volume 12b. Volume 11 talks about empowering of farmers through agriculture extension and knowledge dissemination. And volume 12b talks about digital technology in agriculture. This gives a framework for total digitalization and digital transformation of Indian agriculture system, and this is also can be operationalized in all African countries. Digitalized agriculture, digital technology and innovation in agriculture, synergization of Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, and Startups India programs for transformational reforms in agriculture sector through smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming. All the three put together will facilitate smart hill agriculture. Digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management solutions. Digitalized agricultural resources information system and micro level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming. Digitalized value chain for 400 agriculture commodities. The report talks about it. Today, topic is very relevant for operationalization of this Dr. Ashok Dalwai Committee report, recommendation. Digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities. India is a home for more than 450 agriculture commodities, and it has got 127 agroclimatic zone, 365 days of sunshine, so it can produce food needed for the whole world. And this is where today's topic is: the rejuvenation and acceleration of agribusiness through digital transformation is very important, and this will facilitate operationalization of Dr. Ashok Dalwai Committee recommendation on digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities. Digitalized access to inputs, knowledge, technology, skill, agriculture finance, credit, marketing, and agribusiness management to the farmer. And digitalized integrated land and water management systems, and digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' loss. This talks about farmer health, public health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, fish health, and environmental health, to see over a GIS filter, GIS, overlay, to see that in which area is affected by which disease. If this is done, that we don't have to go for a national lockdown in future, pandemic situation. This alone is $1 trillion data economy. These are all vertical as of now. And this committee also talks about networking of all cooperative societies, and also digitalization and digital transformation of every cooperative societies. We have an Atmanirbhar Bharat, and it is the vision of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi of making India a self-reliant nation, rested on 5 I's: intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation, based on 5 pillars: quantum jump in economy, infrastructure, one that represents modern India, system, 21st century technology driven, vibrant demography, and a demand whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. Digital India program aims to transform India into a knowledge-based economy and a digitally empowered society. And I was closely associated with the District Information System program of NIC District, which was initiated by the Government of India through National Informatics Center in 1987 for 512 districts. Undertook 28 development sectors, database development programs in 28 development sectors: agriculture, livestock, fisheries, irrigation, and etc. etc. District program 1987 has been the front runner of the present day e-governance program of India. Then in 95 was instrumental for bringing out an IT blueprint for agriculture sector. It is digital networks for farmers, 15 informatics network programs, such as AgriSnet, AgMarkNet, SeedNet, HeartNet, Animal Production and Health Informatics Network, and FishNet, and so on and so forth. And Minister of Information Technology and launched the National E-Governance Program in 2005. And National E-Governance Plan 2.0 E-Granthi in August 2014. So agriculture sector in India has witnessed e-governance and digitalization program way back from 1987 and in a full-fledged manner from 1995 through digital networks for the farmers, DNF. India aims to provide much needed thrust through 9 pillars of growth area, be it broadband highways, universal access to mobile capacity connectivity, and so on and so forth. Digital world, the rise of platform economy. Digital platform economy is emerging. Digital ecosystems are essential for digital transformation in the digital world. 10 emerging technologies making impact are AI, 5G, IoT, serverless computing, biometrics, augmented reality, virtual reality, blockchain, robotics, natural language processing, and quantum computing. In India, we have 3 frameworks, 3 ecosystems: Society 5.0, Industry 4.0, and Agriculture 4.0. So, through the Dr. Ashok Dalwai Committee Report Recommendations, Volume 12B, India should achieve Agriculture 4.0. And we also have Amrit Kaal, led up to 100, for the next 25 years, a prospective plan, a strategic plan to achieve how India should be in 2047. And we also have a national logistic policy, which talks about development of unified logistic interface platform, helping different government and private agencies, shippers, service providers enable information exchange on a real-time basis in a confidential manner. On the 15th August 2022, Honorable Prime Minister, in his 76th Independence Day, names 5 pillars for India's development. He called it as Panch Pran of Amrit Kaal. Goal of developed India: remove any trace of colonial mindset, take pride in our roots, unity, and sense of duty among the citizens. We also have 17 sustainable development goals and associated 169 targets. Rejuvenation and acceleration of agribusiness through digital transformation. Let me quote for the benefit of the participants. Overview of agribusiness industry in India. Opportunities and challenges. I quote from the paper published in 2020, titled Overview of Agribusiness Industry in India, Opportunities and Challenges. Indian agriculture has transformed from traditional production to agribusiness industry. From pure production to a broader concept, including input supply, farm machinery, production, food processing, marketing, and the distribution of farm products and other services. Though majority of the population is dependent on agriculture, the growth rate of GVA is very low. There is an opportunity for the agribusiness industry to flourish as there is enough demand in the market. The foreign direct investment equity inflow is expanding over the years, leading to more investment in technology and human capital. The agriculture export is also increasing, thus creating hope for a bright future of the industry. The major constraints of the agribusiness industry are poor marketing and finance facilities, lack of infrastructure, trained professionals, and outdated technology and poor management. These constraints can be resolved through enhanced private investment in the industry. And it also given an outline of agribusiness system, a detailed mapping flowchart. And I also would like to quote another article by an distinguished agricultural economist, Dr. Acharya, S.S. Acharya. In his article in 2007, Agribusiness in India, Some Facts and Emerging Issues, Agribusiness sector in developed countries such as India comprises of four distinct subsectors, namely agricultural inputs, agriculture production, agro processing, and marketing and trade. The study of Dr. Bairwa and Singh in 2015 of development of agribusiness industry in India focused on the need to critically look at how can people get the opportunities and how can alleviate the constraints based by the agribusiness sector in the country. This paper talks about there is also need to review the technological supply chain and storage facilities for a wide range of commodities produced in the country. A full developed agribusiness system in the country can make enabling millions of farmers and agripreneurs to capitalize the emerging opportunities of the agriculture and allied sector. The development of agribusiness sector is need of future to strengthening rural employment, food security, and living standard of people in the country. Agribusiness is the industry, enterprises, and the field of study of value chain in agriculture. This is an agribusiness is an industry. It is an enterprise and the field of study of value chain, and is the field of study of value chain in agriculture. That's why Dr. Ashok Dalwai committee recommended digitalized agriculture value system for 400 agriculture commodities, and the Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology has established a center of excellence exclusively for this on Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, which is also launched an MBA program in agribusiness management, taking into consideration the every aspect of agribusiness industry needs. And agribusiness continues to be a powerful growth engine for the Indian economy. SMEs, there are about 2 million out of 63 million SMEs, 2 million SMEs are involved in agribusiness. And SMEs will play a key role in the segment, reaping the fruits of plethora of opportunities in the segment. What are the technology trends? Emerging technologies influencing the growth of Indian agribusiness industry are farming as a service. We have got 85% of the Indian operational holders are small and marginal farmers. Out of 14.5 crore operational holders, 85% are small and marginal holders having less than hooked hectares. They also should be the part of the global value chain. Farming as a service and digital agriculture. These are the technology trends, and agribusiness industry will facilitate. Farming is a complex, unpredictable, and individual business. Farmers needed to deal with many problems, including how to cope up with climate change, soil erosion, and biodiversity loss, satisfy consumers' changing taste and expectation, meet rising demand for more food of higher quality, invest in farm productivity, and adopt and learn new technology, stay resilient against global economic factors, inspire young people to stay in rural areas and become future farmers. And I also would like to quote a very important project, initiated by government of Maharashtra Agri-Business Network Project 2021. This will be operationalized by 2026-27 for 10 agriculture commodity value chain. Maharashtra Agri-Business Network Project Magnet. It is a very important title, acronym, Magnet. Banana, custard apple, green and red chili, guava, okra, orange, pomegranate, sapota, strawberry, and sweet lime. And United Nations Industrial Development Organization, in its report on smart agribusiness, talks extensively that how smart agribusiness has to be achieved in developing countries. Agriculture and agribusiness sectors present exceptional opportunities for eradicating poverty and hunger, as well as for mitigating and adapting to climate change in developing countries. UNIDO promotes sustainable and inclusive business opportunities through agribusiness and value chain development to create shared prosperity and advance economic competence. It talks about existing and emerging technology driving smart agribusiness. And smart agribusiness refers to application of digital technologies to improve efficiency of all the stakeholders in the interrelated and interdependent value chain in agriculture. One could group this smart agribusiness in the following categories. That's what UNIDO report talks about it. Digital advisories, which will provide advisory on agricultural practices, digital procurement, and agri e-commerce, and agri digital financial services, and smart farming. While digital advisories and smart farming seeks to improve on-farm activities, digital procurement, agri e-commerce, and agri digital financial services form the off-farm activities. And it also give a very good flow chart on smart business across a typical agriculture supply chain and where UNIDO can enter into the value chain. The main opportunities lies in the areas of human capital development. This is where Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology, through these centers of agribusiness development, agribusiness and disaster management, will come into the, to facilitate through MBA, PG diploma programs in agribusiness management. And digital literacy is very important. It's a key enabler of smart business. And this report also talks about, because this topic includes the terminology words digital transformation, I thought that I should also explain what you mean by digital transformation to the participants. Digital transformation is business transformation enabled by digitalization. That's what UNIDO recommend in its smart agribusiness defines. Digital transformation means business transformation enabled by digitalization. What is digitalization? Digitalization refers to enabling or improving processes by leveraging digital technologies and digitized data. Therefore, digitalization presumes digitization. And what do you mean by digitization? Digitization is a process of covering data or converting data or information that is non-digital into a digital representation. And World Bank also talks about agribusiness and small and medium-sized enterprises. And it talks about it's very critical to link smallholder producers to the national markets and meet food demand and create tomorrow's job. This is where today's topic is very important. Under this webinar series, as I mentioned, we conducted about some 12 talks related to agribusiness. And this can be, for example, that ensuring food safety and compliance through technology investment in agriculture value chain, leveraging emerging technology for ensuring transparent and traceable agri and food value chain, commodity value chain creation through agri network and agri AI, and so on and so forth. Agriculture exports management, imperatives of integrating with global value chain at the earliest, one district to one product informatics network value chain, and finally, village e-commerce, challenges, barriers, and potential in rural India. With this background, let us now turn to the address by our group of speakers, to begin with Madam Bharati Sinha on the topic rejuvenation and acceleration of agribusiness through digital transformation. Bharati Sinha is an industry professional with over 38 years of experience, well known for strategic leadership roles, heading business organizations as well as industry bodies, with profit and loss management responsibility, as well as technology and policy evangelism in national and international arenas. Amity Software System Limited is an IT software solutions company providing industry-focused comprehensive software solution for running mission-critical application, delivering value to all stakeholders. She is a director on the board of Amity Software System Limited, Genesis International, Ridings Consulting Engineers Limited, founders of Strategist World, and as well as on the advisory role, advisory boards of companies in IT, IE, India, ITES, and as well as mentoring new age startups. And she's and new startups, and she's also a much sought after keynote speaker at global events. And this topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching over telecast through facebook.com oblique Shobhit University India, youtube.com oblique Shobhit University in, or linkedin.com oblique company oblique Shobhit dash university. And this talk is going to rejuvenate and accelerate agribusiness through digital transformation at village level. And this also will facilitate establishing 2.25 lakh agribusiness startup, one per each gram panchayat in the country. Let us unlock the opportunities in India at the earliest. Let me invite Madam Bharati Sinha to address in the international webinar series on open source digital technologies for self-reliant India. Over to you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Moni. Thank you very much to Shobhit University and AddGEO for giving us this opportunity to present what we love, putting technology to use where it makes real life difference to people. And today's session, which is on agribusiness, as Professor Moni has very aptly said, is a $3 trillion economy. And if you talk about $3 trillion and you're looking at a $5 trillion economy, which we are working towards, we're already 60%. And if you look at Allied, it's probably going to be more, not less. So it's very important. And we also wanted, so we don't want this session to become something that is, very theoretical. And we are not wanting to cover every technology, just not possible. So what we want to do is look at the integration across the value chain, across the entire agricultural life cycle, and see at different stages what are the inputs, whether they're the scientific inputs, the technology inputs, the inputs for running large-scale mission-critical application, as well as taking large data sets from across structured, unstructured sources, making them intelligent enough to extract information on which real-time and near real-time decisions can be made. So we're trying to cover the entire ecosystem. And Amity Software is one of the companies that I'm on the board of. And Amity Software has done a lot of work from almost early 1990s in the agri sector, and both in India as well as across many countries in Africa and in US. So we will talk about real life implementations, real life applications, the real life challenges that are there, etc. I'm supported in today's talk by AddGEO Foundation, headed by and founded by Dr. Yogita Shukla. Yogita Shukla has a lot of experience, and she comes from the scientific background, and she has also got a lot of experience with the policy advocacy and working with governments and with the industry bodies to back her, support her credentials as a leader in this space. Finally, I've also got Olds Technologies, which is founded by Atanu Sinha, who was in industry, and then after he was managing director of Hexagon's Intergraph division, he decided to move into an entrepreneurial side, and he has he's created a company which is providing intelligence-based analytics across systems. So today, when we are talking about it, we have structured this in a way, the session. I think we can skip through the profiles, just come to the agenda. Yeah. So today we've sectioned it into 4 sections. For the session. The first, of course, I'm just going to run you through and just give as a overview what is the agri life cycle overview, and how does Atmanirbhar Bharat and other policies, how do they relate to it? Who are the stakeholders? I will then hand over to Dr. Yogita Shukla, who will talk about how science and technology across, right from the crop preparation stages onwards, can be applied to give value to this sector. And when once she is done, I will come back and share with you how technology is powering mission critical operations, building applications which are enterprise wide and which are helping businesses run efficiently, profitably, and seamlessly, and how this is benefiting all the stakeholders. And finally, Atharu Sinha will not only talk about how technologies converge, how intelligence can be extracted, how decision support systems and dashboards can be built, but he will also, after his speech, to showcase a video where he actually shows how, in a visualized format, how intelligence can be gained from this data. I will, just as an aside, Mr. Manish, I will just request you, we will have the open house or the question and answers after we show the video, so that the continuity is not maintained. There's a little challenge in putting it in one file, largely because it's a huge size. So I'll request everyone to bear with us. So we can go to the next slide. Okay, so in the introduction, the first look, I would like to just say everybody knows Atmanirbhar Bharat, and there's enough material out there. But I think the most important thing, one was that, of course, it is impacting, it is a contributor to the nation's economy, and this is not just for India, it is globally so. People have moved from agrarian to cities, etc., but the agrarian hasn't gone away. So agriculture and agriculture related activities are a very important contributor to every nation's economy, and hence any improvements there will actually, or any productivity improvements and produce improvements will actually only benefit. The second aspect is that either directly or indirectly, majority of the population is related to, in some way, agriculture, and the impact is huge. So any automation or anything that we can do which betters the sector also betters the livelihood and the prosperity of people. So we'll move to the next. uh, the second so before we actually come to how it has been, one of the another thing about agri sector is it's always been remote. The cities and the agri sector have been remote, and for a long time the logistics, connectivity, infrastructure were all challenged. And there was also problems of affordability of equipment and resources. And when Amity started addressing the computing needs, I would not call it the automation needs, the computing needs of this sector way back in early 1990s, uh, everything was, either not available or prohibitively expensive. And to top it all, you needed to have very specialized skills. So it was not ubiquitous, it was not applicable to the general person. You needed people to be able to operate. And, the smart people at that time were all heading towards other countries. And they were not really inclined to go to rural sectors. And all the sugar factories are, for instance, or the processing factories are in the middle of fields in many instances. So there were a lot of things, and the vulnerabilities also to weather and other things was very high because people were not informed. This slide just gives you a very quick overview of the differences also that exist across geographies, and a lot of it is dependent on how the economies how the economies are faring. So more prosperous, more advanced, and more early adoption of technology. But India actually has, can you go back to the slide? India actually has been advantaged in one sense that we started the automation process fairly early. And we are almost 40 years, 35 to 40 years since we started doing things, but in a small way. Uh, and whatever we've done actually over the years has today brought us current with technology globally. And any other country, therefore, who use India as a reference can actually benefit also by leapfrogging the technological and the advancements and the changes to becoming current very quickly. And we have actually, as Amity, also implemented our solutions, agriculture management solutions and other solutions for the agri sector in a number of places, including a number of countries in Africa. I will touch upon that a little later. So I think these presentations are going to be there, so there's no point in reading out. I'm just talking about the salient issues that I'd like to say. So the first set was, I mean, many of you may be familiar with MS-DOS and, early advents of Windows and all that. These were the CUI systems, standalone. They were not connected. They were very specialized software that was used, and the cost was huge. So when the automation happened, it really took care of some transactional information. It was mostly related to accounting and management of stocks and things like that. Forecasting and MIS, etc., was, a luxury. Everything was so expensive that, the computers, there was a little room, or not a little room because the systems were large. There was a segregated room with specialized people, and, they were the lucky ones who sat in air conditioned rooms, whereas the rest of the people were, strapped for even basics of power and water and things like that. But that is how the system started. That continued till 2000s, especially till Y2000, Y2K happened. Post that, there was a change. We started moving on to the browser based systems. The web became important, etc. Now, as the systems became faster, the deployment became more widespread. Computers were no longer something that, was a black box. People started studying in it, started understanding the application of it. You needed the support of various factors, and policy programs was one. Research innovation was another thing. Technology based smart solutions was a third factor. Then building of enterprise applications was a fourth, and of course the decision support. So taking this as the factor, what we are doing is the sections that I talked about. The first session, that is policy and programs, I'm already covering that just now. The research, innovation, and technology and smart solutions will be covered in session 2. And the systems applications, I will come and showcase some things that are being done. And then the decision support. So we are going along with the life cycle of the agri sector, and also the requirements that will enable and which is the game changer for adoption of technology and getting better benefits. So, as I said, I will take the policy and programs section, and how does this apply? So just move forward. Yeah. So quickly, if we take a look at at the inputs, right from the preparation and planning stage of a crop, then the cropping, then the harvesting and storage, and then the post harvest and market outreach, distribution, etc. That is the entire crop life cycle. So at various stages, what are the systems doing? You have the preparation and planning stage, you got the budgeting, the financing, and various applications. Then at cropping, you have right from sowing to, monitoring the crop maturity, etc., and planning and giving the inputs. And then of course you have the harvesting, and then you collect the logistics of it, bring it to the processing, etc. And then of course it goes into the market as a produce. So across the same thing, we've got policy, program, funding, and timelines, very well defined. So many programs, and there are more coming up. So I'm not going to give a laundry list of them, but this is just to give an indicator. Now, who are the stakeholders? Actually, everybody is a stakeholder. The stakeholders, the government, The stakeholder is business enterprises, of course. And again, in business enterprises, you have the businesses who are in the business of agribusiness, agri-produce, farming, right from farming to manufacturing, etc., the distribution networks, etc., but also the solutions providers like IT companies, like technology companies. They're also stakeholders. And the most important is the farmer and the farming industry. They are all the stakeholders. So the now these are, and then of course the after the produce is done, obviously at the harvesting storage stage, so many bodies that come in also who look at solutions for themselves, which will apply again technology based solutions. And then if you look at the linkages to and business models, we have so many which are already there, and these all actually together go ahead and create a business landscape and the opportunities. And I would say the opportunities now presented are for industry, are for the end users, for the consumers, etc. What we are also seeing is a huge opportunity for employment and employability and entrepreneurship. And if that is there, then I think universities like Shobhit University, etc., will need to, gear up to provide educational inputs to people so that they can, leverage this opportunity and become and use that to create their own prosperity as well as make the nation prosperous and food secure. So this was the introduction, and I would like to hand over to Dr. Yogita Shukla, who will show us before we come to how the systems, the implementations are done at the application level. I'd like her to talk about science and technology. Let me also give a caveat. Everybody talking about technology is, something that will be too much. And so we are looking at it from the applicability. And my next session, I will really look at it from the application standpoint. So thank you. Over to you, Yogita.
1 minute. You shown one slide before the enablers and game changers. Can you put that slide? That gives a very good understanding. You can go back, and this one. And can you spend some time on the previous one?
The next one.
Can you talk something about this one, because the policy and programs, you immediately switched to the next one, and this is a very important thing because
Okay, these are some of the areas that land reforms, for instance, is a very important part, because if for the so there are programs which are going for land reforms, that both from the Rural Development Ministry as well as from for the various other policies on Atmanirbhar Bharat, etc. So these are just some of the things that are there. Then we are talking about the credit management, the loans, the subsidies, etc. Why I did not talk about this is because policy and programs are enablers. When I show you the process overview and how these are put in application in real life scenarios, you'll be able to build a connect as to how the application is built in that. So that is why we did not. Again, we talk about if there is a planned, there is a systematic and real-time information based intelligence coming through, a lot of the the productivity, the produce, the quality, as well as the quantity will be assured. Storage methodologies are also very important. We've had enough instances of storage where the crops have, the grain has completely been spoiled, so that it's wasted. So again, the cost of produce, a lot of the things, if you look at it from the perspective of what the farmer gets and what is actually charged in the market, means there are a lot of middle men and middle agencies who are also adding to the cost without adding to the efficiency. So technology is enabling direct connects. It is bringing people in. It is making people inclusive. The payments are direct. They are on time. The farmer gets more money for less effort. people in the middlemen are getting cut out, and I think that financial inclusion is also happening in other spaces. Then again, your things like, we've had policy changes to allow for crop reinsurance and for a lot of things that are covered which were earlier not even looked at, like, if the crop gets flooding is there, or there's some natural disaster, or there is some other issue, again policies also decide on what is going to be the last mile connect. Today connectivity is not an issue. Every village you can run a wi-fi. Cellular technology has taken over to such a degree that mobility is the choice of connection and communication across the country. So these are some of the game changers. Just to go through that and talk about each policy would become a session by itself.
That's
So
it. No,
I'm
that's
trying to, in the interest of brevity, I'm putting these in because, courtesy internet information is available everywhere. So
no. The reason for why I asked you to go back is that it is very important to give some stress because of the today's topic, because we are talking
correct.
about rejuvenation and acceleration of agri-business is going on, but and through digital transformation. That's why I thought that let us revisit. Now over to Dr. Yogita
Yogita.
Shukla.
Right. Thank you.
So thank you so much. And thank you, Bhatiji and Professor Moni and Shobhit University for this opportunity to be able to present my views on this topic. So my focus would be like how the scientific and technology innovation and research, it has been enablers in the agri sector. So for example, we take it from the policy and programs. So lot of policy changes have resulted in innovation in terms of say if we talk about digital technologies, then this Digital India Land Reform Management Program, it has resulted in change of the title. So majority of the cases in India, court cases, are because of the land disputes. So once the land is free from those disputes, we can do lot of innovation with the farmers, and the land holdings, the disputes are less. So there is lot of technological transformation that happens. And all this have happened simultaneously. So we have like transformation and changes in the digital landscape from say mainframe computers to now we have cloud computing, and we have connected sensors, we have micro irrigation facilities, the crop diversification, biotechnology and genetic engineering. It is also transforming the landscape, the agri landscape, into developing new crop produces. Then bioinformatics is also one of the major factors to uh, fast pace the research and innovation space. Robotics and autonomous equipment, AI and machine learning, the IoT at the farms, then the use of biofertilizers and biopesticides, and the streamlining of supply chain and logistics. So lot of all the research and innovation which is happening, everything is now being connected digitally. So whether it is biotechnology or genetic engineering, or it is bioinformatics, or it is information from sensors or geospatial science and technology, robotics and autonomous systems, now all these technologies can be digitally connected with each other. And this is where you can have a integrated farm management, uh, where you can go for digital farming, the delivery platforms. We can have lot of financial and agri-allied services which can be brought together on one platform. We can do the monitoring of the farmlands. We can do the monitoring of equipments remotely. Then we have UAV and drones now, which because the majority of farm sector also is grappling the challenges of labor. So with drones, you can go for precision farming. For example, if you know the soil parameters, if you know the moisture content, you know what is the amount of organic carbon in the soil, or what is the amount of minerals which are lacking. So you can do a precise application of fertilizers in your farm, where you are uh, able to make optimization of your fertilizers, and uh, optimal utilization of the resources. Next slide, please. So why we are talking about integrated farm health? Because agriculture sector in India, it caters to almost 58% of the total population, directly or indirectly, and farmers who make up to 120 million of the 1.3 billion population. And there's a huge gap between how these farmers are using the state of art of the technology and improving their produce, the quality of their produce, which can go to the national and international standards, and then improving the livelihoods. So for the sector to come of the age, we need to strengthen both creating local networks as well as developing the export market. And this is where the technology, it should focus on comprehensive health of the farm as well as the farm products, uh, to take forward the new era of the farming. So, what is this integrated farm health? It means that having indices at each of the stages of the agri life cycle. That is, from preparation and planning to cropping, harvest and storage, and post harvest and market outreach. The indices, the matrices for measurement, whether it is for measurement of the soil moisture, whether it is water stress, whether it is uh, fertility of the soil, to how the crop is growing, the health of the crops, the disease infestation, to when we are going for harvesting and storage, what is the quality of the grains which is coming, what is the nutritional value of your produce, what is the marketable value of the produce. For example, there is a lot of market for aromatic plants, there is a lot of market for mentha, but the quality of mentha oil that needs to be produced to be able to go for an international and export oriented market, there is a lot of parameters that needs to be monitored, and there are a lot of parameters that needs to be ensured. So the product and the quality of that oil, which can be exported, we need to have that kind of technological inputs. So right from what is being uh, there, in terms of fertility of the soil, in terms of macronutrients, in terms of micronutrients, and what is the end output of that produce, everything needs to be integrated. And similarly, the supply chain, the e-marketplace, the direct selling, all this is going to help uh, farmers and their livelihood directly. So the access to market directly through e-marketplace, uh, their own say in the supply chain value, it will bring a huge transformation into how they can contribute to the decision making of the sector. So, in the planning and cropping, there are a lot of inputs. There are a lot of spatial inputs. There are a lot of non-spatial inputs, like multi-temporal data from satellites, from drone, from aerial, and also from the sensors. Then you have cropping data. You have the biodiversity data of your farm. You have hydrological data. You have meteorological data, or the soil moisture data. All this can be, when it converge with the domain information, like what kind of crop you are planting, what is the pattern and frequency of the crop, what is the crop diversity, what is the species composition of your farmland, or what is the spatial variability of rainfall, temperature, humidity, pressure. So all these, when they get into modeling and analytics, they give a kind of a predictability for the farmlands. And then you have a comprehensive farm health index, which gives you what is the diversity of that farm, what are the ecosystem and agroecological parameters that needs to be monitored on an ongoing basis. And this actually impacts the produce, and this actually impact the output of the farm. And all this on a digital platform, you can monitor it on an ongoing basis. So this is where the convergence of technologies, whether it is GIS, it is AI, machine learning, cloud computing, IoT, all these coming together on one platform and build solutions that helps not just the farmers but the complete stakeholder forum of the agri business space. Then similarly, we can have, like, from harvesting to supply, we have automated crop protection, we have automated crop cutting, automated sorting, then during storage. So all these technologies, when we put together, we have an integrated farm health where just on a tablet, on your dashboard, or on a mobile, you can be connected right from the planning and preparation stage to where your produce is going, where your producing is reaching, what is the quality of the produce, what is the price of that produce. All these things are so integrated thanks to the digital platform and the technologies and the automation of the technologies. So this is the era of digital farming, where right from monitoring the farms to doing the fertility analysis to capturing the soil health and water stress to continuously monitor the health of the crops and leading to analysis of crop yields, and uh, also having an automated harvesting and sorting. You remove the the end products which are not really marketable or not usable, to smart storage and directly connected to markets through e-marketing and supply. This whole value chain is all connected, and again, based on your supply and demand, you can also consider the transformation which you are able to do, and what kind of crop type you need to produce, what kind of farm monitoring measures you have to take place. So all this is getting now connected, and we are now into the era of digital farming. And for this, we need professionals across the stakeholders. We need it from the policy side. We need people who can understand how all these systems are connected. So policy also needs to understand the integrated ecosystem. From the research and innovation, scientific inputs, also there's a lot of scope, because you can go in for development of new applications, new matrices, new indices, new networks. From the during the harvesting and stores, the supply chain, also you can develop new products, you can develop new e-marketplaces. So the opportunities, as I said, the opportunities and innovation are manifold. From say policy and subsidy, we have like agriculture credit, which has been disbursed of to the tune of 11.75 lakh crores. And even the private ventures, uh, venture capitalists, they have also launched Rural India Impact Fund, this pioneering ventures to the tune of USD 70 million. Then we have for research, innovation, and startups, we can have lot of incubators who can come up with new strains, new crop types, new biofertilizers, new biopesticides, new sensors, and integrated farm equipments also they can build. Then they can do the outsourcing for the global farm management also. And for the farmers also, this would be transitioning from being just the pure producers to offering a wide range of products with uh, strong forward and backward linkages. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yogita. So, this session, I will really talk about how mission critical operations, which are very large scale in farming, are being automated. And you will find, of course, we have done work in almost every agri industry, whether it is tea, coffee, horticulture, seeds, grains, etc. But for bulk of it, I will focus on sugarcane, because that is a very it's a very interesting crop. Could move to the next slide, sorry. In sugarcane, what happens is that we put in applications. Typically, when you talk about business applications, they start from right from the crop planning stage onwards, and I'll show you the life cycle and how the systems work at different stages, and then till the final produce has been sold and distributed, and the money has come in and become revenue for the company. So across this, why I said we look at sugarcane, because Amity Software has done a lot of work in sugarcane management. When they started, it started really as a simple cane management software, because if you know, in India, the sugarcane purchase price as well as the selling price for bulk of the sugar was dictated by the government for the year. So it was extremely important that the factories which are set up get maximum yield out of the sugarcane, the more juice. But the problem, and it's also a process industry, so you have to have continuous supply of sugarcane. You cannot, once the factory starts, India, it's seasonal, Africa, it is round the year. But it is a 24/7 non-stop process, and you can't shut the factory, because if you do, then to restart, it's extremely expensive. You have to clean the conveyors and every single thing, machinery, etc. So and it's also politically sensitive aspect. So when Amity first came out with a cane management software, the problem was that farmers used to harvest the sugarcane, take it to the factories, wait for a long time while the sugarcane was being weighed, and then they were given a chit, and then they had to wait for the payment, sometimes for weeks. So they would be sitting out there, camping outside the factory till they got the payment, and then went back to their farms. So that attracted a lot of middlemen who would give them less money, who would stand their vehicle in the middle of the fields and get all the farmers around to harvest the cane and pile it onto the vehicle and take it back to the factory. But what would happen is that the quality deteriorated because of the dryage. The sugarcane which was cut earlier, by the time it got crushed, had become so dry that the yield was less. And in the when your buy and sell price is defined, every single increment in the yield actually is profit. So that was what the problem was. And from there, we have now developed a complete agriculture management system, which is like an ERP. And it starts from land survey. It's various applications. We look at the land survey and even the recruitment and acquisition of the land. Look at the field operations, right from measuring the field and getting the exact coordinates, to even things like whether it is the first cut, or whether it is a ratoon, and those kind of things. And also the collection of data, then giving of subsidies, giving of seed cane, giving of fertilizers, loans to the farmers, etc. All those things got covered, as well as the assessment and monitoring of the crops. And then, of course, the developing and giving a plan for the harvesting, because once you say to the farmer that I want so much cane to be harvested and taken to my factory at this day, they harvest it, and the lead time between harvesting and bringing to the factory is reduced. And to further reduce the actual the time between cut to crush, you also automate the weighment process. Now, one of the biggest problems that farmers have is a distrust. They feel that, the weighing is where companies can cheat them, and there's a difference between what is the weight they think they have and what is the weight that is actual. But what now automated systems have done, they are unmanned, operatorless. So you bring your truck or trolley or vehicle on top of those electronic weigh bridges, and automatically the gross and tear weight is taken, the volume is known, and it triggers into the agriculture management system, from there into the ERP. And by the time the farmer is ready to go, even the payment has been, he gets the status of the payment in his bank, on his mobile, or whatever methodology he adopts. So this is how it has moved. We've done it for tea industry. Unique thing is that you do in-field weighing there, because early morning they cut the leaves so they don't dry, and or even milk, and you take the weight there, and then you give a receipt of the weight to the farmer, and then those bags are sent, and the information goes to the factory of what is the kind of quantity and what is the quality, etc., that's coming. I mean, for coffee instance, it is coffee commodity grading also that becomes very important, and so on. So the applications we did initially was sugarcane management system in a standalone. It's grown into an agriculture management system which is comprehensive. And then we also have implemented it, created our own ERP, because initially the cost, the factories could not afford an expensive ERP, or neither could they afford the high skilled people who had to come and do the implementations. And now, of course, many of them are using SAP. In fact, in Africa, we give the entire solution, including the licenses for SAP, even in India, and give it as an integrated single solution. We also have our own smart weighing system, so that also gets integrated. So as far as the customer is concerned, whether it is from the crop, from the land acquisition, even to the warehousing, to the distribution, to the financial management, accounting, not just of this, but even the production planning, etc., is all being done through one integrated system. That is how convergence of technologies is helping. Just next. So there's another portal. I mean, so the first was, of course, for enterprises. But the other solution that we've developed are for government and farmer solutions. So in fact, we started a portal called kisan.net, which is run by the factories. And they connect it with their own farmers. So the farmer knows when to supply. He gets the indent, he knows what to supply, he knows when the payment is going, he knows the what is the status of his account. Either it could be online on the net, or it is on his mobile. Another application, this is a very large application, and this we ran for the government of Uttar Pradesh, their sugarcane department. So I'm not going to detail this here, because that's one of the cases I want to talk to you about. And commodity grading is another very interesting application. As of now, it is not compulsory in India, but slowly it is going to become a very important factor. But outside India and in specific crops, it is still a very important factor. We actually did it in America, and then also some African clients are also looking at commodity grading, and especially when you look at the quality, and based on that you make the payments to the farmer. Then we talk about, in addition to that, we brought in a lot of process improvements. Things like giving a card to the farmer. The Kisan is the farmer, a smart card, which can capture their payments, which can keep track of all their accounting. Also have automated the entire process of cane procurement and other e-governance solutions. In fact, even solutions which are for the cane department in UP government. So not only are we doing it for them and the farmers and interconnecting the factories, but also for their own departments. So that is what we are doing, which is directly working across the government, the farmer, as well as the business enterprises. And several solutions are also offered as a service. Now, just to share with you a chronology of how long and where all much of our implementations have been. We, of course, started in 1990 with India and Nepal, and since we still are not only have we updated the systems and redeveloped and given more refined enterprise solutions since then, but we are there also we have also a very large installed base, and this is a very, very service intensive. You cannot afford downtime, so not only is the product but the uptime of the product, that's very important. And so we have a lot of customers who are extremely loyal to us. In 2003, we actually entered Kenya, and actually we do have an office in Nairobi which looks after the African territory for us. And since then, we have implemented across crops and across regions. So this is just to give you a snapshot of where all we are. So next, please. And of course, the technologies we use are across the board. It is nothing to do with just the one technology, etc. We use all technologies, and which Yogita talked about, and we all have very, very strong enterprise systems throwing up a lot of data, and then we are also doing a lot of analysis. So for instance, a factory owner may like to know that I've given a calendar of when I want the harvesting, but has the farmer suddenly, harvested that crop and given it to some other factory? Or what is the health of the crop? Or what is the current status? So they could take it from real-time imagery, from satellite imagery, or they could have inspectors going down, etc., etc. So the crop cycle starts from land acquisition and preparation. And then once those activities are done, then we have crop management. Again, there are several activities. This particular slide is going to be with everybody, so you can see what is happening. And then post harvesting, the product harvest, and then the delivery to the factory, and then of course the post harvest activities. If we have several applications and activities that go across this board. So this is the comprehensive agriculture management system process, and this in turn links seamlessly with the ERP systems, any standard ERP, whether it is developed like our custom built ERP, which we call Pulse, or it is with SAP and other such enterprise resource planning systems. Next. We also, of course, like I said, we have the logistics application linked into this. We have the warehousing application. We have, and they could be, many of them have automation, like you could even go down to the, in smart payment, we even integrate it with boom barriers and facial recognition and things like that, so that it's only authenticated people. It is authenticated and immediate accounting backward into the thing that this has been received, and therefore the farmer also gets information on his smart card, etc. So the benefits about building products like this is that you can build in the best practices, combining domain knowledge as well as technologies, best capabilities, to build a solution that is really intuitive, that actually addresses the client requirement and outthinks in a way what the client would want, because many of the hindrances are because of the fact that technology was not available. So the practices were there. But today technology has come where, today the cost of communication has come down, data sizes have come up, speed of connectivity has come up. So a lot of, and cloud has come up, web has come up. Convergence across technologies, and you don't only have to do a like to like. Open source technologies have opened up a whole lot of opportunities. So you can have multimodal devices, you can have multimodal formats, you can have multimodal delivery mechanisms, and that has brought in a much more comprehensive way of monitoring and managing the systems. And of course, it's quicker. So let me jump straight into a couple of use cases. So I'm taking one in India, which is a government sector. This is the ERP we've put in for UP government sugarcane department. So why I've taken UP government is that it is the largest producer of sugar in India. And the size and the volumes of this are extremely important. It's a very sensitive system. So robustness, scalability, ability to handle peak, and predictability of uptime is very, very important. So what we are doing in this application is that the land survey, the crop planning, crop development, which includes the loans, the subsidies, the fertilizer inputs, etc., harvesting schedule generation, that is what they call parchi in UP, that's the indenting, the farmers accounting. So every farmer's accounting is also done, and the payment to the farmers are also processed, and it links up with the factories, all the sugar manufacturing factories in the state, with all the farmers and with all the government departments, including the sugarcane society itself. And the department itself has a federated system starting from the senior cane commissioner downwards to the cane inspectors who go into the field, everybody integrated into it. And they have societies, nearly 200, 196 sugarcane societies are there. Their financial accounting, their purchasing, their materials management, people management, and payroll is also being done by the same system. It is real time, it is online on a portal, and it is also connecting with mobile phones to to all the users, to all the stakeholders, and it is further integrated with the chief minister's portal. So it's a very prestigious, very robust, extremely important system that we've been doing for the government sector. Next, please. So just to give you an idea of the size, the sugarcane which is cultivated in UP is 54.43 lakh acres, which is about 40% of the total sugarcane area cultivated in India. The average payments every day which are being made are 1,650 million rupees every day by this system. It is covering 4.5 million farmer families. It is, and they are connected, and many of them are using mobiles. 120 sugar factories, 196 cane cooperative societies. And just to give you an idea, an average, we have 1.4 million app downloads. So this is 1.4 million out of 4.5 farmer families. Approximately 25% are on mobile as well, and which includes the digital payment status, etc. And the database is 300 GB. What we have to remember is this is real-time availability. It is online on the portal as well as on mobile. So this is what we are doing in this particular case. The next case I'm taking is of a very large implementation. We've done complete end-to-end comprehensive implementation, which includes integration with handheld devices, mobility devices, with large enterprise systems, with field systems, etc. This is where we've integrated the Amity Agriculture Management EMS. We have integrated with the SAP ERP, and we've also integrated the smart payment solution, which is automated, operatorless, and it's integrated completely right down to the financial payments, etc., and also given smart cards with RFIDs for farmers. So everything is included in one system. This is a company called Sony Sugar, or South Nyanza Sugar Company in Kenya. It is the second largest or the third largest government owned sugar factory there. Just to give you some statistics, in Kenya, out of the top five government owned sugar factories, we've put in similar systems in three. Out of the top 8 private sector factories, we have put in the similar systems for 6. This is just to give you an idea of the scale at which we are working. And one of the things about Africa is also that it is a 360. This is a year-long 24/7 operation. So it is very, very. When I said it is running mission-critical operations, what I mean is if our system stops, the factory closes. That's how mission critical it is, and that is why it's very important to choose the right technology and ensure that it is tested at scale. So next, please. So I think I'm done for giving you an idea, a snapshot. That's why I took sugarcane, because it is so sensitive to time as well as to cost. But this applies to every industry, everything you can think of, whether it is floriculture, horticulture, whether it is tea, coffee, grains, seeds, anything. And so now I'll hand over to show how the decision support systems can extract intelligence out of this. And I'm handing it to Atanu Sinha, who will first talk you through whatever the technologies and how they can be deployed. And then forward to the showcase how it looks like. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Bharti. I think you need to just.
You need my
no, to take the speaker off.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, thanks a lot. And sorry, a bit of a technical jargon that we have to do. Okay, thanks a lot, Professor Moni. Thanks a lot, Bharti. Thanks a lot, Yogita. I think you made my job pretty difficult by putting a lot of information, and I need to collate that information to create meaningful intelligence data to act. Thanks a lot, and you set the bar high to, be there to make sense of everything that I'm talking about. And second, to the audience who's listening to us, watching us, I know it's lunchtime for you, so I'm the last person, but I'll try to be crisp and quick on whatever I'm presenting. So what I'm talking about today is basically the analytics framework. And when I look at the analytics framework, I'm talking about various places where analytics and data will come together to give you an effective decision making, whether you're right from when you're sowing the seed to going ahead and doing, planning the farming. And today, the farming plan is not just typically a type of seed, but there are people who are doing in the same set of land, they are going multi kind of, farming, right? Then you have agroforestry coming into picture. So there are various methods in the same, like, you cannot leave a field and do a particular, sowing at a particular season and then use the same field for some different purpose at the next season, right? You cannot leave it vacant, right? So there are many things that are happening and how things are being looked at with the changing environment and the pressure that is coming on the farmer and the demands of agriculture over a growing population and changing the biodiversity that's happening all around us. So I'm trying to bring a context around that and making sure that I go through every cycle of the agriculture life cycle, right? So here I go first. So again, saying it, analytics enable critical decision. Since I'm talking about analytics, my slides are more oriented towards numbers. And one of the things that I think is key ingredients in this whole number game is the farmer at the core of it. And this is something that I wanted to present to you. This is very important to understand, is that at the end of the agriculture life cycle, it is the farmer who plays the most critical and the primary role. Am I looking at that as the key aspect of looking at? Whether you're talking about reforms, whether you talk about land acquisition, whether you talk about seeds, is it helping to enable the farmer to have a better mental state, health, in their overall way of how they are not migrating and still continuing with farming and agriculture as their profession, right? Because we see a lot of people nowadays, because of the pressures that are coming, they are moving away from agriculture to the urban side of things, because the pressures are of earnings are high, because the pressures in terms of loans, in terms of the climate changes that are happening, the flooding, the insurance, everything is interlinked together, which is actually putting a pressure on the farmer. So these are the critical factors that we will look at in terms of the overall life cycle of how technology will help the farmer to go forward. And here are some of the numbers that I'm going to present to you. And this is between 2010 and 2050. And these numbers are very relevant to make sure that the decisions are made based on certain statistics of where the action needs to happen. Clearly says that, as Professor Moni and Bharti said, that this is about 3 trillion industry that we're talking about. But do we know that 19% of the population, which is about 1.3 billion, are dependent on agriculture? So there are people who are 1.3 billion people who are actually doing what the world needs as a food for us. The population is increasing. 2050, we will have 10 billion people. However, we have a challenge here. We have to do more with less. The available land will be only 4% increased land for farming, whereas the farm produce has to go by 56% higher for the population. I think that's where it comes down to, is optimization and making efficiencies and use of latest digital technologies. Second, with the whole COP26, now COP27, and the carbon footprints, we need to increase the forest area. So that will affect the available space that we have for agriculture. So these are the certain things that is putting pressure again on the agriculture industry in terms of how we need to do more with less. And I think that's where technology, digitalization, bringing together silos of information, making sure that we remain effective and optimize our overall efficiency and the produce that we are doing. So over a period of time, what we have done is we have seen this transition of how the whole farming has gone. What was previously was pretty much isolated way of farming, right? And in India, we had a huge challenge also, because the farm owning pattern, the farm sizes are getting lesser to individual farmers, right? So when it comes down to them, are we looking at some other alternate ways? Right? One of the things that are coming up is, are we looking at aggregation of land together, right? That's the other thing. That are there bigger players who are coming into and adopting those smaller farmers to make sense of the produce that they are doing? So these are the various other things which are coming into picture. But doing all that, technology has to play a critical role in terms of aggregation, in terms of making sure that there's enough produce and enough produce of that quality, and making sure that they are relevant in the time when that is required at the level, in terms of the volume of produce that is required, right? Because that drives a lot in terms of the numbers, whether it is their selling price, whether it is their earning capacity, and all that. So when we look at this, we are looking at various information which are available. And I'm saying that information in today's date, information is not that it is not available, but they're available in silos. You have weather information available, you have the pesticides information available, you have the soil information available, but they're living in their own quarters, right? They are not giving a complete view of one singular common operating picture. And I think that's what we are looking into the future, and that's what digitalization brings into the overall system of making sure that you get a common operating picture. Again, let's look at the opportunities and optimization in the farms that we have. Now, these numbers are very critical, but one of the few things that you see here is that today we are talking about smart precision, all coming together to make sure that whatever information you are getting from, whether it is field, whether it is above the surface, below surface, on the surface, is available to make decisions for you, right? So this is something that I think is a great opportunity for us. And this is what I say as unifying silos. Geospatial is a classic example which gives you visibility of data that is available, right? Whether it is a satellite imagery, whether it is a drone data, whether drone data needs to fly where and how much needs to be covered with what kind of pesticides, you can plan it, you can execute it in a very, very efficient manner. And it's an informed decision. You know which farm, which seed needs which kind of a pesticides or which kind of treatment, right? It's available to you. Then you go to farming. When you're doing farming, you need to look at how the tractors are automated, right? So you're looking at autonomous vehicles, autonomous kind of farming, which is what exactly is smart and precision farming is. But this is all driven by information of where location matters the most, right? So it's an overall cycle where it brings in different silos of information to make sense of the data that you have. And this is the video that I'll play later, but this is what the analytics dashboard will look like. And see this has got a frost calendar. I'm putting it a UK data. This is where the frost calendar is. In that, then you have the rainfall data. You have the minimum and maximum temperature. So everything which is available in silos of information is available to you to see how the behavioral of your crop is going to be dealt with in a space and a time using spatiotemporal information. So over to the video that I wanted to show actually is the video that has complete information, which has got a satellite imagery, which has got a digital terrain, which is required from a standpoint of irrigation, where you need to know under the drainage system. Second, you need to figure out where the flood modelings are happening, how the contours are moving, then taking it to how we have looked at the temperature overall in the overall globe. And then according to that, we have integrated the crop season over a time period and a timeline for different areas. So if you can play the video. Yeah. So this is the video. If you see, this is very simple to use video. So the analytics here is making sure that you don't have to be a geospatial or a specific domain expert. You can operate. Nobody taught us how to use Google Earth, and this similarly looks like a Google Earth. And if you see, what we are doing here is making sure that every data and every information is available to you in a single layer. Look at this. We just draped over the DEM, we draped the satellite imagery with the points here. Now, the understanding that is required is the satellite imagery is one truth of information that is coming from up, where there is no manual intervention. So this is the truth that's exactly happening on the field. Now, this is something that we wanted to show you is in terms of how we have integrated the contour information on top of it. Now, if you see the contour information, this is required for where you want to build the check dams. If there are floodings that is required, how the water is going to flow into your fields. And I think this is where these tools are right required, because one, somewhere it's drought, somewhere it is flooding, but making sure that you get the right kind of irrigation mechanism at place. And I think nothing better than a geospatial platform brings in the complete and comprehensive view of data to you. On this, we are going to now show you, various layers that we are. So look at the layers on the right hand side. These are various layers. Now we will simply look at the various time stamped information of temperatures. This is, if you see, we just switched on the temperature in the global scenario of of January. Then we, on top of that, we overlaid the June. So there is information which is getting overlaid for you to make sure that this information, in whichever time period you are, and how it is changing over a period of time. So this kind of a change brings in, make sure that what kind of a predictive modeling that I can do to make sure I mitigate those risks that are associated with the agriculture produce that I have. And left hand side, we've integrated with, look at this, the crop calendar. Now the crop calendar I'm putting down, I've just taken the rice as an example of the crop calendar. And if you see, we will just put it and the dashboard comes out automatically. So it's a singular drop down menu where you're getting the crop calendar. You see which is the sowing time for which other places. The time bar comes below. You can select and move the time bar. You can see that automatically the places are getting highlighted. What the simple sense making of sense here is that how temperature zones, when the sowing time, what kind of crop is affecting and making decisions for me to make a better predictive modeling for future. And we have done this to make sure that, and there are many things that you can do. You can keep increasing the number of layers, you can put the soil information, you can put IoT devices into that. But at the end of the day, this allows you as a single dashboard of truth to make sure you arrive at decisions which are right and efficient and timely. Thank you very much.
Hello, thank you.
So I think we are done with the sessions. Any questions people would like to
And
ask?
I think
Or
is Dr.
comment?
Yogita, she's left or still she's at the background? Mr. Manish, can you put her on the show? Okay, she joined. So thank you very much. And it's a today today is the 99th edition of this webinar series, and I completed 103rd edition in the national webinar series on doubling farmers' income. As a student of mathematics and computer science, and worked in the 512 district level programs way back in 87, and then 95 bringing out an IT blueprint for agriculture sector. Then seen the National E-Governance Program from 2005 onwards, now established 5 centers of excellence to promote IT in agriculture. And today I'm seeing a presentation by an organization called Amity Software Systems Limited, which also started in 1980s, where I was walking with the barefoot to bring in systems in the village level and to the district. Whereas companies like Infosys and TCS were sending people abroad to do COBOL coding, COBOL language coding abroad. And as an ex-IITian, I was walking down with the district level how to introduce computerization in the country. Today, TCS and Infosys make a big, it's a $1 billion, it's a big industry. Now they have come down to India to work for India. And today, after a company which started in 1980s to work for IT and agriculture, in your presentation, you brought it very clearly that tools were not available, but we started, rather than going for, we started doing some computing components, and with the technology available. Now, after 45, 50 years of work in the field, today you have expanded to US, California, and many of the countries in Africa. And it is a best example to deliver a talk, is the best organization to deliver a talk in an international webinar series on open source digital technology, which is in association with the ARDO, African Asian Rural Development Organization, 99th edition. And as a person, and just 1 minute, there is a question which has come. Madam, can you ask from Madan Mohan Jonalagada, where are you applying AI and augmented reality? Can you give a small example?
Okay, I'll take it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you put
So
the
AI, we are using a lot of
Mr. Manish? Can you put
algorithms
the
on
question back?
predictive
Mr.
analytics
Manish,
in
can you
terms
put the
of
question
crop
back?
yield, estimation, and crop health.
Sir,
So
maybe any
what we
video,
do is we
any other
monitor it
video
from the
from your
satellite
side.
imagery, but
Okay.
more so we are using a lot of algorithms to make sure that when the drone data comes in, whether it is just a picture or it is a moving full motion video, we are able to understand the produce and if there is a certain health issue, because whenever there's a life cycle of a particular crop, so we understand what is the growth of the crop to do that. Second, when we on a mobile device, when we take a picture of a particular disease and then we allow and use AI techniques to understand what kind of disease is this, and then based on that there is a predictive method of what kind of pesticide is required. So there are three things that we do. One is from a monitoring standpoint, which is being done from crop yield, overall produce, and as well as agri insurance also, right? And to understand the whole supply chain management from right from the go down to the miller to the PDS system. So it's a complete chain which is dependent on the crop yield, crop cycle, and how much you're getting. So that's something that we do with satellite imagery. Drone is more from a standpoint of crop health, and to be very precise, going down to the micro level where we are using a mobile kind of an information to take a picture and understand what kind of disease it could be. So this is something which is all about AI that we are using. Augmented reality, frankly speaking, augmented reality we are not using that much in the agriculture domain, but is it a possibility? Yes, it is a possibility. But when we look at mixed or hybrid kind of a environment, when we are looking at agroforestry as an income thing, there augmented reality does come into picture, right? But if you see from a standpoint of you are going over the hill, and how do you want to see the whole irrigation planning in terms of check dam, your whole what we call it as the slope down where the water is getting collected, if there are flooding, inundations and stuff like that, there we can use AR, augmented reality, checking on if there is so much of a cloud burst that has happened, then what it will be. And exactly. So Bharti just helped me to say that it's a digital twin which we create when we talk about augmented reality in creating a scenario of flooding in a specific time period time with a specific volume of water and a specific rainfall that you're looking at, and can we mitigate them with certain dams, check dams, and stuff like that. I hope I'm able to answer the question.
In addition to that, the question is very important.
So, any other questions or? Professor
Hello?
Moni, this will be available to
Am I
anybody
audible?
who wants from your site, right?
Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay. Is it audible? Am I?
Yeah, I can
Hello?
hear
Am
you.
I audible?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
fine.
yes.
I think this is a time that I think there is. Okay, thank you, Madam Binanegi. Wonderful, absolutely great efforts.
I
Bharat
have to
ma'am.
admit she's part of my strategist's world, so it is a little
It's
partisan.
okay, fine. No, it's not. The thing
But
is
it's a
that is
very
very
interesting
important.
topic. Right.
And great initiative is good. And this is how that university and the 5 centers of excellence would like to bring it. This is an impact of COVID situation. COVID-19 has brought a lot of lessons to us, and today I'm able to network a lot of experts working in India and abroad for benefiting doubling farmers' income strategy. And since I was a part of that committee and I brought from 1987 onwards my experience and challenges, potentials in the field, I brought it as a recommendation in the Doubling Farmers Income Committee report. Then I thought that being a farmer technocrat, let me use internet connectivity, university platform to tell the nation that this is what we need it. So India is a big country, central government and 28 state provinces and plus NCTs, NCT and UTs. Everyone has got different cultures. But unfortunately, nobody wants to walk to the farmer. Nobody considers village as the first mile connectivity. They consider as a last mile connectivity. So as a person worked with the grassroots level development, I thought that it is very important for me to stand up on the rooftop and then cry and shout that this is what is needed, which I have done it at the age of 70. So this is very important. And even with the industry 4.0 getting applied on agriculture 4.0 and with the drone applications, with the remote sensing applications, applications of AI, machine learning, deep learning, augmented reality, virtual reality, you all will find a lot of applications because we have to bring youth to get into agriculture. And it will be very difficult for our farmers who are on the field, who have got different type of either distress and various other issues. I know that new technologies we cannot and so that's why we thought that this university has come forward when I was in service to establish, to make agricultural informatics as it's the discipline, because this university is located in Meerut, western part of Uttar Pradesh. So this is the first private university to have a center for agricultural informatics in the world, and also to launch an MTech in agricultural informatics program. And not even IITs, not even NITs, not even that triple ITs, and deemed universities. But take its time. We have to walk more time to make rural youth to realize that it is an important discipline which they have to study. And I have been doing a lot of promotional activities. Now even ICR is thinking of that how to introduce this agricultural informatics as a major discipline. That technology is available, but the agriculture science discipline is the grand old systems. That so, and even agriculture is the best use case for computer science discipline. Today, after listening to Dr. Yogita Shukla and also Mr. Atanu Sinha, and as a former, I'm MTech computer science from IIT Chennai 1976-78 batch, and worked in this field, and I know the importance of that. That's why after my retirement, I thought that rural India to shine, smile, and roar, we need these 5 centers of excellence. And I'm very happy about it. But COVID situation has aided a lot. And Dr. Ashok Dalwai committee and doubling farmers' income, that is also aided. They brought in all the recommendations which I put it. They made me as the subgroup leader. That's why it is on the on the government's table. And thanks to our great Prime Minister, who announced doubling farmers income by 2022 in 2016. And many people ask question, December 2022, whether the farmers have got their income doubled. Every citizen, every bureaucrat, every technocrat, every scientist have to take the clue from what Honorable Prime Minister said. Like what I'm doing it, they are supposed to do it. Today it may happen, and tomorrow it will happen. It's not necessary that it should happen by December 31st, 2022. And on the other day, when one of my good friend, Professor Patel, who was a former professor from University of Agriculture, Raichur, even though India independence is started in 1857, first struggle, but finally we got in 1947. And then people cannot question that why we didn't get independence in 1857. So our after 1947, now the first Prime Minister announced doubling farmers' income by 2022. We have worked very effectively and intensively. And as a private university, it's the only university which is running such type of program. One is on national webinar series on doubling farmers' income, bringing all the experts together, and international webinar series with an international organization. today I'm frankly, I would like to thank all of you, and you have brought it with such a case studies from IT company, and you worked, more than 4 decades to build up solutions, and operationalized in developed country and also developing country, in addition to India. And in what you have done it in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh with respect to sugarcane management is phenomenal. This should be converted as a diploma program and under our Center for Agricultural Informatics, and it should be a case study in MTech in Agricultural Informatics. And it is, and it has to be a case study in MBA in Agri-business management, and it should be a case study in MTech in Informatics and e-governance, and it has to be a case study in MBA in Industry 4.0. And then I felt very happy when Dr. Yogita Shukla mentioned integrated farm health management. That this is the 7th recommendation of the digital technology in agriculture. If you see that, I will send you the slide. And after listening to that, I thought that it was, my greatness that I was able to interact with your, the MD of the Amity Software Solutions in February 2021 during the, the COVID situation. And we are supposed to sign an MOU. And I think February 2020 and not 2021. And then, I was quite impressed that, this is a type of case study should be included. And I requested him that why can't you join and run that, MTech in Agricultural Informatics program. We need, All India Council of Technical Education has given only 20 seats. Let us build up. This is what is needed. We should bring in rural youth, agriculture science graduates, engineering graduates, and postgraduate students through MTech in Agricultural Informatics, MBA in Agri-business management, MTech in Informatics, MBA in Industry 4.0, MSc in Health Informatics, and to bring them to, to undertake rural transformation through technology. Transformation through technology, T3. Here it is information technology, operational technology, and knowledge management. This is more important, these components. And today I felt very happy, and you also, madam, you structured your presentation very effectively and brought out that what is needed on the ground, and what Dr. Ashok Dalwai committee talked about it, digital technology in agriculture. It is a perfect use case. You brought it out and brought it to the whole world through this international webinar series, that what India has in hand offer to the whole world, technology solutions in the agriculture and integrated farm health management, which I have been voicing from, I was asked to make a presentation, invited to make a presentation in National Agriculture Science Congress in 2011 at Lucknow. And I talked about, the topic given to me was how to reduce farm loss, on-farm loss. So I thought that integrated farm health management is very important. And the National Agriculture Science Academy brought out the proceedings with my paper. And I recommended a National Center for Integrated Farm Health Management Studies is necessary. Then I included in the committee report, and you see that, human health, 85% of the disease which we get come from animal. COVID-19 is one situation. So plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, fish health, environmental health, and human health, if it is seen, integrated with a GIS, layer at a village level, and we can easily bring it out very effectively. And with the technology which is available today, whether it is artificial intelligence or big data analytics, it's fantastic. There was a talk in the same webinar, in the other webinar series by Dr. Chris Southropoulos from Australia. He talked about use of artificial intelligence and big data analytics to ensure optimal nutrient in soil and harvested food to minimize human disease. Because the minerals in soil controls the metabolism of cells in human, animal, and plant. If the soil is not healthy, then what the plant grows on such an unhealthy soil, or the animal which drinks water or drinks the fodder which are available from the unhealthy soil, and the man who eats that food and which comes from the unhealthy soil, they cannot be healthy. So soil health is more important, and that's why your topic on integrated farm health management, with your topic, with your involvement, and from the Center for Health Informatics and Computing, let us have an MSc Health Informatics program. Artificial intelligence and big data analytics, blockchain, and GIS technology, and to have it, and with the 6 components. And this is $1 trillion data economy. I visualize that maybe 5 to 10 years from now, India can have a data center with 5,000 data scientists on health informatics alone. And it will be the biggest contribution to the whole world. And this is what I know. This I have been voicing. And today's Dr. Yogita's address is given, and she exactly took it from spelt out what is needed. What Dr. Ashok Dalwai committee talked about it. What is doubling farmers' income by 2022 committee talked about it. What I have been talking from 2011, and that's what when I operationalized, a network of 7,000 locations to monitor animal disease system in India by way back in 2012, and so lot of examples are available, but doubling farmers' income by 2022 has given a full opportunity for us to see an integrated approach to look at who is a farmer, where is he, what is he, where is our farm, where is our animal, where is our pond, and how to grow 450 agriculture commodities, 365 days of sunshine, 127 agroclimatic zone, more than 450 agriculture commodities, livestock and fish. And if this value chain is traceable, what is grown where, with the and blockchain technology, and with the heavy drone applications, and this digital transformation, if it takes place, because agribusiness is a spinal cord for the entire agriculture sector. That's why I brought it. I talked about some information from the Unity report, how to achieve smart agribusiness. And thank you very much. And it was a very important webinar. And this will be, this talk will be seen by many of the African countries. ARDO has got 16 African countries as members and 15 Asian countries as members. And we will also make a presentation when His Excellency Secretary General ARDO has got time. And we can make a presentation to them so that the case studies which is available in Africa can be made present, and Asia can be made presentation to His Excellency, the Secretary General of ARDO. So before I would like to close, I would like to hear final word from all the 3 guest speakers, that how we would like to collaborate, to bring it out. Agricultural informatics is a vibrant discipline in the country and an offer to the whole world. To start with, Madam Bharati Sinha.
Okay. So when you talked about integration of technologies, the reason we came up with this format, I remember you asked me to make a presentation, and I said it has to be a comprehensive end-to-end presentation. So we brought together integrated domain knowledge, technology knowledge, and both the business application side, the scientific side on one side, and the analytics side on the other, to give one comprehensive end-to-end view. So the same thing applies. I think people need to, I don't think that technology adoption now is going to be a challenge. You did say that COVID gave an impetus, and it really allowed the proliferation and propagation of technology fast, using virtual methodologies rather than physical. So I think that it's like in India, from agrarian to manufacturing, we just completely skipped the computing and went straight to mobility. And today, mobiles are in use by everybody. A person doesn't need to be educated to be able to run a mobile and interact on WhatsApp and such platforms with having very basic education. Also, there are a lot of inputs both from the government as well as partnerships with international governments who are bringing in the best technologies, best practices, and the equipment to India. The use is going to be so high that I think that the economies of scale will kick in to make it even more affordable than it is. The challenge is going to be for universities to be able to churn out the talent needed to actually run this. The opportunity for people to work close to home rather than migrate to urban habitats is definitely something that is going to encourage people to, and COVID has helped people understand that they don't want to be too far away from home. So I think the time is right, the opportunity is there, the affordability is there, and the ability for technologies to talk to each other even when they are unlike each other is there. So it's a promising future. I think it's taken so many decades for it to reach this stage, but I don't think we are talking about decades. We're talking about months and possibly years for this complete transformation to happen. I think the question of whether it adds value, it doesn't exist. We also have understood that, like Atanu's company partners with Amity, and we are very clear that the analytics part of it, his company takes care. So you have specializations that are there. People like AddGEO, Yogita's foundation brings in a huge amount of domain expertise and policy related inputs uh, into the system. So we are anyway, as smaller companies, providing an integrated solution. And I think that it's also inclusive across the strata of participants, right from the individual farmer. I know that, even women, wives and ladies in the farmer households are now looking at agri related small industry. I think with transportation, with availability of infrastructure, with the packaging industry and the cold storages and etc., and the policies for e-mandis and the rest of it, I think market access is coming in, money will come, the economies of scale will come. It's only bound to grow, and India can be a great showcase for any other country because we operate at a scale that no one else has.
That's true.
So
That's true. That's very
yeah,
important.
so that's, to my mind, I think it's an important first step. We would certainly have conversations offline to see how we can support Shobhit University. But for today, I think this was a good event. Thank you so much for inviting us. It also helped us think through from a different perspective. And thank you again. I think who would like to
Thank
speak?
you.
Yogita?
And Mr. Atanu Sinha and Dr. Yogita, you would like to have your final words?
Atul, do you speak?
Mute. So
Yeah,
I would just say that now with science and technology accessible to grassroots and to individual farmers through different platforms, we can really look into a farm management, as I said, an integrated farm management where farmer knows what their soil is, what their soil health is, what are the crop diversity they can look into, and how they can leverage this information to best productivity and maximize production. The other thing I would also like to emphasize upon, that the land holding in India is a small farm hold land holding. So we should focus on building farm cooperatives. If we have to go for a scaled, integrated farm management on a larger scale, because having such cooperatives, there are few cooperatives like farmer producer organizations which have really scaled up to a very international level. Means I know one such cooperative. This is Sahyadri cooperative, and they have really transformed the life of the farmers, the stakeholders, and through this community institutional building, they have not just focused on improving the farmer's life, but also improving the uh, crop produce, and also making it possible to reach to the consumers the right kind of produce that can be delivered, which is free, organic, and less
Yeah,
pesticides,
it's
less.
it's yeah, it's very nice that even though we have 1 lakh primary agriculture cooperative societies and about 22,000 primary fisher cooperative societies and about more than 1.5 lakh cooperative societies. Now we talk about 10,000 farmer produce organizations and also now startups. Now with the technology to bring in people with the technology competence to get into the one. I have been government talks about 10,000 agri-tech startups, but I'm telling about each gram panchayat has to have one agri-tech startup. Otherwise agri-tech startup will never go from urban area to rural area. Agriculture stays in rural area, not in urban area. So
Yes.
2.25 lakh, this the basic principle. Even the government should, those organizations talk about 10,000 agri-tech startup, they will never go to gram panchayat. And
Yes.
so I started having it one per each gram panchayat, 2.25 lakh agri-tech startup. That's what I presented to Honorable Defense Minister and Honorable Agriculture Minister on 15th October 2020 during the farmers' strike. So we have to think big, because India is an agrarian economy. Every institution, industry has to do their contribution with respect to Indian agriculture economy, agrarian economy, and rest comes later. And this is what is very important. But in addition to that, to bring in rural use, what you need is, I have been voicing that the country needs to have a lot of agriculture polytechnic and agriculture ITIs. And agriculture polytechnics and agriculture ITIs will bring in science and technology led farming operations at the grassroots level. And farmers need not get into contract farming, but they can become the shareholders of agriculture polytechnics and agriculture ITIs. Anything which gets produced, it gets processed. It doesn't go as a raw material to other place. That so the country needs, in addition to other infrastructures which are being created, but we have to increase productivity, and we have to have a nutrient enabled production. And for that is that education at polytechnic level and at ITI level in agriculture has to come out. So this is where we need at least one agriculture polytechnic and one agriculture ITI in every gram panchayat. It is very in every development block, 6,500 blocks in the country, which is needed and which will be completely digitally transformed. So thank you very much for part, and I would like to hear from Mr. Atanu Sinha. Your last word.
Thanks a lot, sir. Quickly, I think you brought it very clearly, and over the last session, 1.5, 2 hours almost, we heard. I think there are 3 aspects that we look at from. Accessibility and affordability of technology is most important for technology to proliferate, to make sense to people, where it matters the most is at the farmer level, at the village level, which you brought out very clearly. And I think that's where the key comes in, the startups community that is coming up, is that they have to make sure the technology is affordable and accessible right at where it matters the most. Second, as you talk about capacity and capability building. And I think as a technology and a solution provider, we can enable both, right? Now, when I say affordability, we have to make sure that the data today that you have is available, right? But acting on data needs a lot of integration processes, whether you're talking about drones, whether you're talking about drones with pesticides, whether you're talking about autonomous equipments coming to picture for sowing and harvesting and all that stuff. I think there is a huge amount of ecosystem that needs to get created for aggregation, right? Right from farm holding or cooperative societies, to equipment. So every farmland has to source something who has got a equipment understanding of the whole equipment that is required at that particular place and can be hired easily, right? So there has to be an aggregation portal also to let you know the resources available to do that. And I think tech plays a big role in making those information available right at the place, because everybody need not own a tractor to go ahead and do that, but I need to know where I can find a tractor. Similarly, I think right from that is from where we go to the supply chain management, the logistics. I need to know, if I have sown, where is the miller, where is the nearest go down, or where is the millers that are available. From the millers, where it goes to the next place of a go down, and from there the whole public distribution system. I think this all information can be integrated, but at the end of the day, it has to make sure that it is available to the farmer at the most affordable cost, right? Not that the connectivities are not there. People are using mobile phones every single day, right at the rural zone. So technology penetration is not an issue. The affordability of that available data is an issue to make sure that happens. And second, I think from a stand of capacity building, as you rightly said, that there has to be a proliferation of literacy, or for that matter, making people aware of that. And literacy, when I say that, making people aware of that these kind of technologies are available to help you to do better in terms of your aggregation, in terms of your agriculture produce. And I think these are the key aspects. So I look at affordability and accessibility, capacity and capability. Thanks a
No,
lot.
it's very nice that, this is the journey which Amity Software Systems has brought in with respect to this particular sector is concerned. You can see that build up solutions based on technology is a long drawn process. And today, mobile penetration is there. What will they do? And even the government is not in a position to utilize to make the block level officials to work for agriculture rural development. There are 6,000 blocks, 6,500 blocks. And you have agriculture officer, you have animal husbandry officer, you have education officer, you have health officer, you are a rural development officer. Nobody wants to talk to each other. It's a block development officers, and it is naturally they are blocking the development. In the that's what is happening with the taxpayers' money. And I even voiced in when I was chairing a session in National Institute of Rural Development on October, I think 28th, 2012. I said that these people should be transformed. They should be digitally transformed to undertake agricultural rural development transformation in 6,500 blocks. 4 people into 6,500 blocks, it comes to something like more than 25,000. If these people become a soldiers, digitally transformed, agriculture rural development will transform. Otherwise, everything goes as government schemes that doesn't even reach the last mile. So that's what we have to build up capabilities and capacities and entrepreneurs at the grassroots level. Agriculture is the best sector for everybody to become a millionaire, and is the highest employer, even much better than IT. And agriculture can adopt all the technology because it is an unstructured problem. You don't know what will happen. That's why I put it as a smart irrigated system, smart rainfed system, smart tribal system, and smart hill system, agriculture systems. And that's how this is. I felt very happy to today. The technology, if the COVID situation would have come, nobody would have. It will be a long drawn process to get into use of technology, work from home. Only the people, their son and daughter are in US and other countries, they will be using voice over internet and so on and so forth. But today it has become it is a means for us to conduct our business and our transaction. So thank you very much. And I think today we had a discussion. This program has gone, it's about 2 hours 23 minutes. Is normally for 1 hour 30 minutes, and we have to bring in agricultural informatics as a discipline, and for the country to contribute agriculture 4.0 to the whole world. So let us work together, and I will request Madam to get that MOU cleared and let us sign it. Let us join, let us conduct
Yes.
MTech
Next
in
week we can do
agriculture,
that. We'll do that
agriculture
next week.
informatics, MBA in agribusiness management, MTech in informatics, and MBA, MBA in industry 4.0 and MSc in health informatics. Thank you very much, and have a nice day, and convey my best wishes to Mr. Anil Kumar Saxena. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And with this, we will close the webinar and leave the studio. Thank you.